All right, we should be live. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Bloomers. Top of the morning. CPI, labor market news, in terms of unemployment, be released today. My screen share is going. Heavy, heavy dose. Heavy dose of news coming up. Um, all right, so the main juice of yesterday was the FOMC meeting minutes. And all that is a meeting that took place back in September 17th to September 18th. And then we know the interest rates were cut literally around that same time. So let's just kind of just dive in a little bit deeper. The meeting minutes is to the reasoning behind those cuts, just some things that we can use to gauge how we'll view the data that, like today, labor market data and CPI, right? Two things that um, contribute directly to economic growth, right? So as we get started here, about 13 minutes until this news goes down. So I wanted to get on here and talk about this for a sec. Uh, so right here, I just threw this in the ChatGPT. Um, Give me everything I need to know about the FOMC meeting minutes that was released yesterday on October 9th, 2024. Right? Let's see here, summarizing discussions from its September meeting. And key takeaways, right? The minutes indicated that while inflation had moderated, it still remained above the target. The committee observed that real GDP had grown robustly in the labor market, although showing signs of cooling, remained strong with a slightly higher unemployment rate. Inflation pressures were easing, particularly in the housing sector. Okay. So it seems like the Fed's outlook is the GDP and the labor market has shown some signs of growth, uh, although showing signs of potentially cooling off. Remain strong with a slightly higher unemployment rate. So, when thinking about the labor market and unemployment rate, maximum employment, the Fed's one of two parts of the Fed's dual mandate, right? When we think about that, these folders are what we'll monitor um, to see their result, right? So their previous month or week doesn't have super large significance to what we're going to be looking at. We're going to be looking at the consensus because we want to see how far the consensus is off of the actual, right? And so consensus is that, these unemployment claim folders continue to just gradually increase their claims, right? So meaning that um, people are still filing for unemployment, claims are still being filed type of thing. This is a lagging indicator, lagging economic indicator, just because of the time frame that it takes for that type of data to be accrued. So we have to keep that in mind as well, that this is a lagging type of indicator, right? So what that means is if we get some improvement from this consensus, oh, that will give great confidence to that labor market, right? And the um unemployment rate, right? So that's one thing I'm thinking about. And it says during the meeting, the FOMC decided to cut the Fed funds rate by 50 basis points, 475 to 5%. Right. The decision aimed to further support the economy's adjustment as inflation continues to moderate, right, which is a good thing. Right? However, one member, Governor Bowman, dissented, meaning that she didn't really like um, the 50 cut, advocating for a small rate cut due to concerns over persistently high core inflation. And high core inflation is the core inflation. It takes out, I believe it's food and energy. So it takes out anything that can skew um, the inflation reading. I have to get back into exactly why, but I believe it's food and energy, just because those tend to be a lot more expensive than just normal, you know, have to circle back around on that. Um, but yeah, that's interesting. That's interesting. That there's one thing. I forget how many members there are, but there's basically one member out of 12, I believe it is. All right, so the minutes highlighted that market expectations had shifted toward further policy easing by early 2025. Treasury yields had dropped, reflecting lower inflation expectations. Despite some market concerns, U.S. equity markets remain resilient, rebounding after an August dip. Okay, the future policy outlook. The FOMC members expressed a cautious approach to the future rate adjustments, emphasizing that decisions would depend on upcoming data while they were more confident that inflation was moving toward target. Uncertainty around economic and global conditions remained. These insights give a sense of the Fed's balancing act between addressing inflation and supporting economic growth, with particular focus on labor market dynamics and inflationary pressures. So yeah, that's I mean that's kind of something that we knew. Their dual mandate, maximum employment and price stability, which is exactly what they're talking about in terms of inflationary pressures. Just looking for stable prices and then maximum employment when we're just talking about the labor market. So we want unemployment claims to be um, I'm not gonna say it as low as possible, because then that's when you know things start to either get too hot for the economy. You know what I'm saying? It's from what I'm starting to understand, like there has to be some type of um even when their goal to get inflation to 2%, why not get inflation to 0%, right? But it just from what I'm understanding about just an economy on a global sector, right? They kind of are able to manage the economy to where they can say, okay, 2% inflation, that's manageable. That's manageable uh, in terms of, still producing economic growth. Um, the sentiment of consumers still improving, like just all the different factors that we personally feel when, you know, we're affected by things like inflation. Um, yeah, that's actually interesting to think about. So with that being said, right now we go back to our chart. And we go back to our chart. Did we get any news from JPY last night? Yes, we did. All right, so let's look at JPY real quick. So foreign bond investment, right? Foreign bond investment, what is that? The gap between the purchase and disposition of long-term debt securities is represented by the gross data. A plus sign represents a net purchases of foreign securities by Japanese investors. A minus sign indicates net sales of foreign securities and inflows of cash into Japan into Japan. The Bank of Japan is not included in this list. Okay. A higher than expected figure should be seen as negative or bearish for the JPY, while lower than expected figure to be seen as bullish for the JPY, right? So if there are capital inflows, right? So right here, a minus sign indicates net sales for security and inflows into the Bank of Japan. So when we go back here, we look at the actual result versus the consensus. We see that, let's see, previous number revised, negative. So that number is not a negative, meaning that a higher than expected flows. Okay, so it's minus sign in the gap between a plus sign represents net purchases of foreign securities by Japanese investors. Net purchases of foreign securities by Japanese investors, right? So that is a plus sign because there's no negative here, indicating that the net purchases of foreign securities increased by Japanese investors, meaning Japanese investors are moving their money outside of their own currency, right? Meaning their yen is the amount of money being held in yen has decreased, right? We can say that does what? We can say that may appreciate the yen because there's less of it, right, in circulation. We could also say that could potentially decrease the value of the yen because what does, those foreign investors know about what could happen to the yen that we don't, right? Why are they moving their money outside of the yen? Why aren't they putting more money into it, right? Stock investment by foreigners. Let's look at that one. Foreign investments in Japanese stocks reverse the differential between the influx and outflow of foreign investment in Japanese stock market. Higher than expected figures should be seen as bullish, while then a lower than expected figure should be seen as bearish. So what this is saying is money is flowing into the Japanese stock investment, right? So we see that number go up, which is good, which is good. But the previous number is a lot more, is a lot greater in differential, right? A lot greater in differential as we have about 3 minutes left to news. So let me just get this real quick. Okay, bullish, bullish. Bank lending year over year. That rate decreased. Bullish, bullish. Okay, take a look at Matif and take a look at this yen. Really been liking this yen on Matif. What happened to my indicator though? What the heck? That's funny. Anyways, just a 5 minute. Let's probably 5 minutes. Let's give this one. This is my 1 hour chart. This here is my baseline. So the same baseline I use on the Ikemuchi Cloud, just reading 26 periods of price, right? So what this is saying is the yen just moved above its last basically daily average, right? Because the baseline is 26 periods of price, so that's about a day. So the yen just broke above its daily average, right? However, I don't know if it'll stay there. Just understanding all the outflows when we looked at this foreign bond investment, money is moving outwards of the Japanese yen economy. So when I look at my trading view, right? As we're a few minutes until news, right? Let me get my trade locker ready to go. All right. I like how we stopped, we moved and we stopped right at that imbalance, right? So if I get some good news from the dollar here, I want to take buys on the yen. Simply put, good news on the dollar, I'm buying on the yen. Oh my gosh. Look at that. Look at that. We were talking about this yesterday too, guys. Remember, the spike goes in both directions. Why does the spike go in both directions? Because there's two types of economic indicators coming out right now, right? One is labor market, unemployment, but that's going to read more lagging type of data, right? And then when it comes to CPI, that's reading more than eight. Oh, so there was this, what the heck? My Facebook is struggling right now. Okay, so look at this. 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 Right? So their consensus on unemployment way off. Especially initial jobless claims, right? That number was 28,000 large, right? Jobless claims from September 28th, right? 30,000 larger. What is that saying? That's saying the labor market is a lot worse than they thought, right? A lot worse than they thought. Inflation rate month over month. What do we see there? Inflation rate month over month actually increased a little bit. Core inflation rate actually increased a little bit, right? Inflation rate year over year actually increased a little bit. So that's actually interesting there. So as we're seeing on the chart, as we're seeing on the chart, both ways, right? And went in both directions. I like sales. I like sales on UJ after the market calms down. Just seeing that labor market data come out, uh, understanding what we were talking about a second ago when it came to the Fed meeting minutes yesterday, um, and just kind of thinking back to the reason for the 50 base point cut. We saw basically every member besides one member of the Fed did not like the decision for the 50 rate cut. Uh, so I don't know particularly why, if all these signs pointed towards needing to stimulate the economy. It's kind of interesting. As I heard the famous jingle, let's see what we got. See, pull up my Zoom. Good grief. That was a crazy spike right there. I pulled up the live yesterday. Oh, there he goes. You, my boy.
My fault, my fucking mic, my freaking mic on mute,
I'm
man.
good. Yes, I'm not gonna. I'm gonna sit patiently and wait for this market to calm down. Wait for this market to calm down. That's it.
So I had myself in a little bit of a predicament. I've been absorbing some drawdown in a
Mm,
position on gold. Utilize this as an opportunity to pull myself out of that position um,
nice.
at a lesson, um, just to get out of it. Um, let's see what percentage lesson that is by 2024. About a 4% hit to my counter.
Mm,
Uh, but yeah, I wanted to take the opportunity to get out of there and get back in here fresh, man. I was
yes.
exhausting.
Expert. I feel that, bro. There's so many times where I've done the exact opposite. I'm like, what? This is the time. This is the time we can,
Right.
get out of it in a good way. Like, damn, I just closed all my windows.
We'll see.
Yeah,
We'll see.
speaking of
And
gold,
I figure now, like if it's gonna move bullish, cool. Like if it's gonna go back towards my position, I'm just gonna take my positions here from here.
yeah,
No,
yeah, this is exactly what I was liking yesterday too, as we were just looking at what price was leaving behind. I was
mm-hmm,
loving it moving back bullish. There's some
mm-hmm,
inefficiencies sitting there right now. So I love the bullish play. I'm sentiment shifted on UJ. Recently been really bullish on UJ, but my sentiment has shifted since news just came out. Understanding that the labor market is getting hit a lot heavier um, than the U.S. had anticipated. Strategists analysis has anticipated with our consensus. And then that core inflation reading still looking like it's not moving towards 2%. Uh, looks like it moved up a little bit. So get my windows back up here. Let me pull up the YouTube so I'm not missing anybody on them. We're doing a quick upgrade. Come on, you guys are doing a quick upgrade right now? You serious?
Bruh.
Bro, look at this. Yes, look at this. For my Facebook is taking a beating right now.
Goddamn.
All right, so I have gotten into this situation, and I can't wait until like we can assign somebody to go through every single one of our live calls and pull, bloopers and the good stuff. And I just can't wait for that because there's gonna be a day where I'm just assigning somebody on our team.
Mhm.
Hey, can you go through all of our live calls and just, pull the best clips and, see how stuff played out from what we said and whatnot. And this is one of them that you'll be able to pull. I can guarantee I've done this more than one time is enter trade in this moment, right? And it correct all the way to whatever. So like right now, it spiked up initially and then moved downwards. And I am 90% sure it's gonna correct all the way up to this level before it actually does move down back downwards. So I'm gonna be really, really patient here. Really, really patient. Really, really, really patient. Let's see what that ATR looks like right now. That ATR is probably very high. Yeah. So right now the average true range of movement of Japanese yen or of UJ right now is about 17 pips. About 17 pips. So that's like just the volatility within that pair right now. So if I were to enter a trade, I would want my stop loss to be outside of 17 pips. Maybe even like 34, thinking about a 2x multiplier on that, considering UJ isn't super duper volatile. Gold, on the other hand, has a 30 pip average true range, but we know that pair moves roughly 100 pips on average. So I would definitely like to multiply that by like three. So actually, 5 minute. Same thing with gold as well. Like I love seeing gold come correct on this liquidity. From news here, I love seeing gold correct that before it decides to move bullish. Looking at volume, like I like what volume's saying about that statement. On MACD. Traded UJ today. Still on the It was cold. I need to put some sweats on. I'll tell you that. I'll tell you this. I'll tell you this. Let me check something real quick. Is that gonna come back alive? My FX book losing credibility. I will switch back to Forex Factory. Forex Factory has never given me this issue. It just doesn't give the breakdown like I want, especially the unemployment claims. It still shows like, previous, the consensus still shows how far off that was. Don't let this fool us, right? Previous does not have as much impact as the consensus to the actual does. So you see here, it's giving us this green reading only because it's aligned with the previous month and year. But it's worse than consensus, meaning that, strategists, analysts are just slightly off in terms of, reading the economy. I monitor this yen. If it's on that time frame, why can't I see it on my other time frames? Matif? Matif? Tell me that. Tell me that. Why can't I see it right here? Huh? Oh, that's a freak. There it goes. I like having just a baseline on my Mativ, just a baseline. I just want to see where price lines up with the baseline. That's it. Go to the 15. So let's do that. Let's bring that over. Let's bring actually that works. Actually, the thing is, I got time to set my chart up like I want. My screens, Finviz. All right, so we got forest factory. Make sure we're not missing nobody. Live stream.
It's, they get better with that. All right, so that's good. Finviz. Finviz is good. So this morning, Finviz was actually at UJ was at plus 0.44. Gold was at minus 0.02.
You myself. Um, and now it's sitting at so plus 0.44 and UJ was at it's sitting at negative 0.36. Gold sitting at plus 4.6. Earlier was reading at about neutral. Neutral.
Let me says I'm reading through this is U.S. employment unemployment data. Somebody had a comment. The market showed jobs are more important than inflation, which speaks to what you were talking about a little bit ago, which is I think very clear today. And as we progress forward, I think we'll continue to see these labor market data impact the market more than the inflation data that comes out.
Mm, mm. I just entered a sell in UJ.
I'm in a buy position on gold.
Yeah, I love that correction that we got. We didn't get it to correct all the way to that news. That news liquidity up there, which is I'm okay with some correction, right? Because now I'm, using my MACD just to read volume there. 5 minute looks good. Massive, massive. Quick. Nice, and this is exactly what I want to see. I want to see, as long as I come to my Matif, and I see the yen just above this red line here. This red line, the baseline, it's the same line that I'm using on my trading view chart. It's just black on my trading view chart. Same data, same reading, 26 periods of price, right? So just giving us the average of the last 2 hours of price right now. So as long as the yen that is completely separate from USD JPY, I'm just looking at the yen. As long as that is bullish, I'm good, right? I'm good in this. So yeah, that actually kind of really made me feel away for my FX book. Took a took a minute to load up for me there, saying it was having some errors. Um, I'm gonna note that. These news outlets have a short leash with me.
Mhm. In profit right now in this gold position. I'm trying to decide what I'm going to take this to. I want to kind of let this sit in here and cook. That makes sense.
Hmm.
Push up to my next decision making level and touch some of this liquidity that's sitting there at about 26.34. My gold pair. We'll see. I definitely like this to continue to push upwards here. My, my 4 hour, my 1 hour, and my daily MACD. Uh, Not so much today, but a few of my bigger time frames are in my favor, which I like for this buy position. We'll see how this data wants to continue to impact us.
So earlier this week, Monday, October 7th, JPY released their current account. And what the current account consists of is the difference in value between imported and exported goods, services, and income flows, like through stock market or government securities, or even taxes, and unilateral transfers during the reported month. And we saw a significant increase from its forecast, right, on the Japanese yen. And I'm just comparing and contrasting macro, factors between the yen and the dollar, right? So this would support the yen going bullish, right? So I love that I'm seeing that from Monday. I did not know that was the case on Monday. So I love seeing that. I'm just looking at some of these previous news folders from the yen, um, to just confirm the bullish sentiment that I currently have on the yen, which is promoting bearish movement on UJ right now. I am in some good profit, about $1. Um, so somewhere around, gonna add 10% roughly of this account, just under it, like 8% or so. Probably look to take this sell. Let's check to see. Oh, I have to take this sell to this liquidity point. And liquidity is sitting right there. Is where I'm going to take my UJ. Is where I'm going to take my UJ sell to. So we're looking at, call it 147.5. 147.5. So I kind of like this from Trade Locker. And so I'm putting in my take profit right now. So basically 147.5 be about 113 pips, $7.66, and 41% of my account. Can rock with that. Stop loss for this entry. I'm gonna just monitor where I wanna remove myself from this trade. One thing I really like the entry I had. One thing I've written on my whiteboard in front of me is execute without hesitation, trust intuition, and document the results in trade log. So did that this morning. So a good reminder for me. Check my dollar looking nice. If it wants to come correct. Oh, this inefficiency actually already got filled. Wow, I didn't even know you could like view we could view the unemployment rate on trading. It's hilarious. CPI. Yeah. um, Oh, all that stuff is viewable. There's actually, yeah.
I'm gonna take profit on gold at 26.30.
Nice.
2630 gets us to kind of sweep some of that liquidity on the bullish side with respect to where we're at right here. Of a
Mm.
decision level at 2634, but I don't need to be that stingy.
What do you think about that inefficiency sitting there?
I love that inefficiency fill. Inefficiency get completely filled right at about 2638. Just looking at my 1 hour time frame here. 2638. Wait,
Mm. So you taking it to 2630. I like that.
monitor as we push up onto it. But yeah, love that inefficiency fill there. Mm, 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 mm.
See what price should I enter at? Oh, I just get randomly logged out of my trade. So
It's annoying.
you logged in on my phone too? Did not get logged out.
Let's get a breaking news post out today, shall we? Need to adjust this one.
Get logged back into my KOT really quick. Stop sharing my screen really quick. So I can log back in and try to hack me. But it's just freaking videos of those that stuff going on over in Florida.
Yeah, crazy.
Crazy, crazy.
My brother was over there working. He was over there. They went over to I think like Alabama or Louisiana or something like that.
Say I would complain about the heat. It's like, bro, I would much rather deal with
So that water gets up on you, man. Get that.
so nothing else from JPY today. And some JPY later today. But tomorrow, nothing from JPY tomorrow. I think that's not true though. Not true at all. Getting some correction here on this entry from UJ, which is fine. I guess there's no news from UJ. Our baseline and our conversion line are flatline right now, pun intended. We can get one of ideally what we need is it's not that we need a certain line across a certain line. I don't want to say that. What we need is the conversion line. The reason that we want them to cross each other is the conversion line is just a quicker read of trend and momentum. So that's it.
Mhm.
I want to stay away from saying we need like this line to cross this line because it's a lot. That is the picture we're looking for, yes. But I love when we have the understanding of why it's doing what.
Mhm. And when I think about that growth and knowledge, I just think of risk management, man. Risk
Hmm,
management. Previously it being that simple, it being okay,
yes.
this crosses this line, bam, let's make the decision solely based on that.
Yeah.
Now with the back of the understanding of the macro and what's going on in the big picture, that minimize our risks on our risk continuum. We're slide every day we learn, every day we grow, and every day that allows us to slide a little bit. It just allows us to have more control of our stance on our risk continuum.
Hmm.
That makes sense because it's all risky, right?
It's
It's all
all
risky.
risky.
Our risk is never gonna be zero. We'll never completely minimize or get our risk to zero. It's impossible in this market, in any financial market. But the more control we can have over how we manage and adjust our risk, that's the beautiful part.
And what you're saying with that is not just like entry based.
Mhm.
It's not just from an execution standpoint, like how many lots am I trading on this entry? Like that's not really all of it.
Mhm.
So we got this 5 minute decision making level that was just generated on UJ on this 5 minute chart. Still flat lined up here in terms of prices average. So I want to see just it respect this level, see sellers hold price downwards on UJ. Q, there's a video that I'm gonna send you, and I can even play it on this live. It's like 3 minutes long, but I think you'll really like it. Um, and it was an ex hedge fund trader just
Mhm.
talking basically about the objectives of of different traders, like
Hmm.
traders like you and me,
Hmm.
institutions, hedge funds, like on different scales.
Hmm.
Yeah, and it was just the one of the reporter proposed the question. It was like, are we do we how do we compete with the big players in the market, or
Hmm.
do we compete with them? And that's when he got into just the objectives that we have, versus a JP Morgan. We different. It's completely different. Like they're not necessarily like central banks aren't necessarily looking to. Uh, they're not really. They don't care about the rise or decline of price,
Hmm.
because their focus is the differential between what they hold in their reserve, because of there's a certain Federal Reserve mandate. And so that is what the central banks focus on, versus like an asset manager or a corporation that's looking to increase their capital over the next 12 months, their income. So it's like I was like it's really interesting, because we've a lot of people have referred to, I've heard Forex specifically referred to as like a zero sum game. Like when I'm making money, somebody else is losing money, and vice
Hmm.
versa. And that just kind of put into perspective for me that it's really not that zero, like that's not the case at all, because I have no ability to influence your position, and you have no ability to influence my position. Right now, we may be taking opposite positions. Um, But that doesn't mean, that you can't profit from your position and I can't profit from my position, because we may be viewing this market on completely different time frames. Um, which is those hedge funds, those institutions, they're on that macro scale of um, growth. So I thought that video was interesting. I didn't see the guy's name was like Corbin Cavalli, I believe his name was. Did not see what hedge fund he managed. Corbin. Cordula. Corbin,
And this is the highest unemployment has come. This is the highest level unemployment's been at for initial claims since August 5th, 2023, when it was at 258,000. Interesting. So how will something like this, market labor data continues to come like this, unemployment data? What does that mean for these rate cuts? What's going to be the Fed's reaction to poor labor market data in regards to rate cuts? I think that's my first thought. Just with this being obviously the focus of the Fed labor, it'd be interesting to see if continued Directionality and labor market data will impact their decision making.
I want to see what this watch tool is. So it looks like right now there's like an 85% chance there's another 25, a 50, another 50 cut. Yeah, that would be 50. Oh no, okay, so 25. So there's an 85% chance they're saying that it cuts 25%. November 7th is the next date, and then 2 days later, election day. 2 days later. Or I think if I switch that, 2 days prior is election day. Yep. 2 days prior to election day. Still holding on to this entry here, seeing how it's reacting to that decision-making level there. Dollar edges down against yen after uptick in US inflation. And so if we don't know how to read these macros, or even how to read the calendar, the news calendar, then we're gonna look at CPI and we're just gonna look for these colors. We're gonna say, wow, this was a green result. Isn't that bullish for the dollar? No, because the forecast was
Mhm.
projecting that it would decrease. So
Mhm.
it's just hawkish BOJ official changes little over rate hike timing. Hawkish BOJ official. Isn't this interesting? This shows the dominance of that the US continues to have, just in terms of the global scale. It brings me back to that video I watched from Wall Street Journal, young lady talking, saying that when the US sneezes, other economies catch a cold, right? And it says right here, while the yen rose slightly on the Bank of Japan deputies, as I'm getting my alarm go off, let's figure out why. Hmm, I know why. Back to what I was reading. While the yen rose slightly on Bank of Japan Deputy Governor Ryozo Minos, latest comments supporting more rate hikes in if the economy moves in line with bank projections. So that's something I want to monitor. Fed pricing and US elections are the main focus for the USD JPY. Overall, the remarks changed little for the BOJ outlook, with the timing of the next live meeting unchanged despite a slight reduction in the hawkish BOJ view in light of more dovish comments from the new Japanese Prime Minister, Shigeru Ishiba. So it sounds like Deputy Governor Amino and new Prime Minister are not seeing eye to eye. Japan's lower house elections took the October meeting where the BOJ would consider raising rates off the table. The next conceivable live meeting is December as it stands. Market pricing attaches roughly a 3 chance to a rate hike. With the meetings flagging that Japan is experiencing rate higher growth progress and wage increases, it's reasonable to assume that December is in play for BOJ. The BOJ trade is unlikely to garner much attention until after the U.S. presidential election. There is therefore likely little value in trading BOJ. Mm, 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 mm. This last line here I like, but the BOJ trade is unlikely to garner much attention until after the U.S. presidential election. Therefore, therefore, there is therefore likely little value in trading UJ on BOJ headlines in the short run, right? So meaning like anything that we're hearing from, you know, the Japan side of things just may not have large impact because of, they're kind of waiting for the big fish to fall, and that big fish being the US presidential election mainly. I'll tell you one thing I love about this new spot, bro, is and look about 45 degrees to my left,
Hmm.
and I just got direct sunlight.
That's nice.
It's coming right through.
That's nice.
Yeah, I need to get I'm gonna get a partition. That's what I want to get, one of those things to
Mm-hmm.
basically block off. I missed Amazon Prime Day yesterday. Damn it.
This post out regarding this news, letting everybody know
Breaking news.
what's been going on. Macro news insight.
News. Breaking news is people are still filing for unemployment, meaning it's well, gold literally moved about, it was a whopping 18 pips away from hitting your take profit.
Mhm. Yeah.
I love it bouncing. Oh man, this is just so beautiful. I saw something that is like trading is good for people that like puzzles.
Hmm.
I freaking love puzzles. Whether it's like a physical puzzle or like a mental puzzle, like trying to figure out a problem. I feel like that is a puzzle. So whenever I see just market work out, it's just beautiful. So I just want to see this bounce off of this strong 4 hour level, right? Decision making level was generated on my 1 hour on gold. Like we understand the dollar is weak right now, inefficiency, but above it, this is just beautiful to move bullish and feel this inefficiency.
Hmm.
I just love that. I just love that so much. Where's my negative chart? Negative, put it there. Invis, Invis still telling me good things for both of our entries here. I don't see anybody that has said anything yet on the live call, so we're good there. And shout out Apple for this new update because I've never been in my life able to do this.
You get the phone pulled up.
So like you know how on Windows computers you can like snap different like windows, so it just like before on Apple you can only do like half screen, but
Uh,
now it like lets you snap four different screens into their own place and
mm,
actually like view it like into where it's
mm,
like not all weird.
mm, mm,
So
mm.
yeah, Apple has finally caught up to technology.
Love that.
But as we know, Apple just I wonder what their marketing team is like because I feel like they're so strategic in their releases, bro. It's insane.
Yeah.
They definitely know the marketing game. Check on Galea. Oh my God, what's he doing? You win. You fucking bigger. What are you doing, pretty? You're crying. You stop. You trying to say this don't talk. Can't be loud. Loud. She really starting to crawl, bro. I go in the room, you're on her hands and knees, freaking crawling. You think I don't like to see that? Like, you keep getting bigger. You're getting big, mama. You know? Man, yesterday was a very, very memorable day.
Was that?
Got everything out of the crib yesterday.
Done all cleaned up already? You guys get all
Everything cleaned out. It was about 11:53 p.m. I walked out of there, said my goodbyes.
clean?
It was a good feeling. It was a good feeling. Now as I open my garage, it's another project. Blessings nonetheless, man. 10-10. 10-10. Somebody's birthday's today. It's your birthday today, isn't it? No, it's not your birthday today.
10 more days.
It's not say it's not your birthday today. 10-20. That's a good one to remember.
And
I got
20.
that one. 10-20. I ain't gonna ever forget it before. 10-20. There's somebody else's birthday today. Is it a coworker? I'd be a coworker. Still just sitting in my entry here. I entered this trade at price of 148.63638. Let's see if I could have had a cleaner entry point. 638.75. That would have been a clean one. 638, maybe even 60. 60 would have been nice. I like that entry. 60. What time was that at? That was at 5:46. 5:46. So somewhere in this level. 5:46. That was my entry. So probably I like the lower. Pretty solid entry point there. I like that a lot. Let's see what happens here. I'm gonna change the diaper, get some coffee, and I'll be RB.
Or,
I can still hear you.
or Yeah, and so still in my XAUUSD position, corrected against me just a little bit here, staying patient through the entry. Looking at this, my 1 hour time frame on XAUUSD. Complete fill of this inefficiency that's lying here on the 1 hour that was created by the candle at, I believe, 7 a.m. on the 8th. So 2 days ago on Tuesday. Activity this morning almost was able to completely fill this area. There's still probably about 10, maybe not even 10 pips. Yeah, like about 10 pips left to fill this inefficiency. As we move through that area, and again, thinking of the situation in which I will take profit and, thinking of an optimal situation here, as we push up, bounce off this decision making level, move back bullish towards profit area. As we move towards the 26, 28, 26, 29 level, as we get into there, that will signify a fill of this inefficiency. I mentioned I had my take profit right at 226.30. Still have my take profit there, just kind of allowing me a little bit more room. But as I'm viewing the market, as I'm viewing the candlesticks move, I could take the exit a little bit premature from the take profit as we get through 26, 28. But we'll see. Got a little bit of work to do. Um, but like to see this labor market data continue to impact the market through this session. Dollars moved down onto a strong level as well. So I'm recognizing that as well. DXY perfectly filled a level of imbalance it had on the 4 hour time frame with this morning's news. And I'm noting that as well. I'm just about out. I'm opening up these blinds behind me. I know in this position too, there was opportunities for me to take my profit pretty much early on. In this trade position, and I'll notate that in my trade log. But again, staying patient through this area, man. Staying patient through this area. Sitting on my hands, being an observer. Here. Dollar bouncing off its level right now, moving a little bullish at the present moment. We'll see how it wants to behave as it moves a little bullish on us. Is there any more macro news for the day? That's the next question that popped in my head.
I'm
If
literally looking right now.
FOMC member at 6:15 speaking, Cook, FOMC member Cook speaking at 6:15, since passed. FOMC member Barkin speaking at 7:30, and natural gas storage data releasing at 7:30 as well.
30-year bond auction, monthly budget statement, and the Fed balance sheet comes out a little later today, which could give us some insight on how those inflows and outflows of the dollar are unfolding. The balance of the federal government's budget is the difference between budget receipts, income, and expenditures, which is spending. A surplus is a positive number. A deficit in the budget is denoted by a negative number. And their consensus for that is it improves to a positive number. See what UJ is doing. Do see UJ correcting, that's fine. And drop it.
No, bro, I gotta tell you about this dude that was at the bar the other day.
Yes.
It was it was such a funny situation. Uh, Reflecting on it, I wish I would have been a little bit more forward. This will make sense as I get through the story.
Mm,
Um, so this I'm gonna just use terms to make it easy to kind of track the story. But there's this white
mm,
gentleman and this Hispanic gentleman,
mhm.
friends seemingly, yeah, friends for sure. Um, the white dude had a lady with him, and then another lady kind of came a little bit later. So it's kind of like some setup type of thing, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, and so I see the Hispanic guy on his phone looking at the charts. I'm like, oh. I'm like, bro, what are you trading? Um, and he said he trades mostly indices, like US 30, and major forex currency pairs, things like that. I was like, what's your thing? What's your pair? He's like, "Man, whatever's moving." And so probably for the next like 30 minutes or so, if you're looking at my screen, he's looking at his phone like this and hunched over at the bar. You could tell he's upset about something, visibly upset
Yeah,
about the market, about his
yeah.
some position probably. And he just looks down bad. You know, he had that look, that trader look, when things aren't going your way. And so his homie progresses to walk over to me. So at this point, I'm not standing by them.
Yeah.
Um, and so his homie, the white guy, he walks over to me real quick while his friend's in the bathroom, and he has written down in his notes. It's not that funny, but it kind of speaks to a lot here. It says, "Bro code. Um, everything this guy orders is on my tab. I don't
Yeah.
want to get embarrassed." Um, and so my analysis is on the situation is he's uh, a trader that's one, lost, doesn't have, the direction like we provide.
Yeah.
But two is just not in a very healthy state as a trader.
Mm,
Being to detach himself from what the heck is going on in reality and around him, and letting the market kind of consume him, consume his emotions. Uh,
mm,
and then he proceeded to have a handful of drinks and probably forget about the whole situation until he woke up.
yeah.
But I think and I didn't end up. I never. I didn't feel it. I didn't deem it appropriate to um, kind of approach him with us, our product, what we do,
Oh.
kind of given the circumstance, if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
Um,
No, that's a great little case study though.
yeah, it was strange, bro. It was strange, and
That's
man, and after reflecting on it, because initially I was like, damn, I wish I would have, man, I could have helped the bro out, man. Bloom, man.
yeah.
And get on live calls, learn, how to do this proper risk management, proper psychology, proper protocols.
Yeah.
As we talk about on these live calls. But it really, reflecting on it now, a couple of days after the fact, my large feeling is just how valuable what we're doing is for people,
Mm,
particularly existing traders, people who don't have that basis, people who are just so interested in, want to find success in this and end up losing way too much of their bread than they should.
mm,
I'm just not doing it the right way. Um, it's just, yeah, man, it made me feel resolved in kind of our purpose and why we're doing what we do. But yeah, it was interesting.
oh, that is
Crashing out
interesting.
over the market at the bar.
You
Never
said
meet that guy.
so. So he probably blew his account. You think? So his homie came over and said he's basically paying for everything that day.
Yeah, and it didn't seem like it was a new situation. His buddy kind of,
Yeah,
it seemed like, oh yeah, this happens.
yeah.
He's down right now.
I got
Um,
him tonight.
yeah, yeah, I got him. I got him. I wanted to get him out the
Yeah,
house, get him away from all this. But yeah,
that's
the dude was super cool though. Super nice dude. The white dude, the Hispanic dude was he was kind of a weird guy, but maybe that was the liquor talking.
yeah, boy, it was hot. That's what it was. That's what's up though. I always like to hear when I hear other traders. Like we know they're out there, but it's always dope to see it in public. Or
Mhm.
I wonder how often do you think you see that? I'm sure that's not the first time.
Yeah, first time I've ever
First time you
seen
saw some of the
it.
traders were at the bar.
Yeah, yeah, first time,
Interesting,
first
interesting.
time. And, I talked to a handful of people about, the business
Yeah.
and what I do. It's very interesting how many people haven't heard of, this market.
Mm.
Uh, so that's kind of the overall kind of um, climate I feel out there.
That's just
But
mind-boggling, bro. Like
yeah,
it's really just because to think about like I mean. there was a point in our life where we didn't know about trading, about the
Yeah.
Forex market specifically either,
Mhm.
right? And but when we found out about it, I mean, we're still a couple decades younger than somebody that, doesn't even know about it. You know what I'm saying? So like to think about that. Like, yeah, I didn't find out about trading till I'm, 20, 21 years old. But there's still people that are 40 that, have literally gone to multiple countries that don't even know about, um,
Mhm.
the market, or people that, are our age who have traveled or may have not traveled, still don't know about the market. So that's, yeah, $7 trillion roughly a day. It's hard to keep that under the rug for forever. Still in my UJ trade, as we seeing on my chart right here on this 5 minute, we saw a slight correction, right? Slight correction against my position, um, but this is on the 5 minute, right? So why I like looking at the 5 minutes so much? It just takes a lot of the noise out, than the 1 minute. The one is still showing a little bit of the same thing. Um, but just as far as more candlesticks, that's really all I'm looking at. So still in this UJ position, buyer's volume weakening, right? Looking like we may get some sellers step back in. Still within this decision-making level, right? Even though it moved higher than the high on that decision-making level that was generated, I'm still considering this in the level. Like it's not hasn't broke out of this level. It's still here, right? So I want to see it move below. Ideally, go take out that liquidity and then move to, let's say, 147 and some change. About 147.4 is what I'm taking this to. Let's take a look at gold. Gold looks like it's making a clean bounce off that 4 hour level. Right, looking at our 5 minute. Get rid of that. Price withstanding correction. Would you agree with that, Mama? Yeah. Yeah. Mm. And take a look at the yen on my Mativ chart right here. So this is the yen, and as we're seeing once again that baseline we saw this entire morning, the yen controlling, um, the last 2 hours of price average, the average of price. So I love what I'm seeing there from the yen. So definitely should be able to get a movement down to that 147 and some change level as we move beyond this liquidity from news at 148.24, its most recent low. I'll look to monitor, um, my position. What are you getting, McGee? Let's go over here. Go over here. Go over here. Hey, Brady. The pretty girl standing up. She's standing up. What's she doing standing up there? She's standing up. He's always trying to grab something that's not. Oh, 6:46. I'll probably hop off at like 7:20. Kaden is picture day, so I
Picture that.
uh, I got I had a paragraph sent to me this morning, just making sure that
Yeah.
he's ready for pictures.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, you'll be
I have to
damned if
make
you
I have to make sure that
the
he's.
yeah, I'm sure the wife, the lady want whatever. She wants that to be taken care of for
It
sure.
was funny because this is his retakes. So the first time I didn't
Mhm.
perform well. So
Ah, 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 ah. Damn, you got another chance, man. You better. That's funny as gotta lock in.
yeah, so I
Yeah,
need some extra time.
yeah, gotta lock in for sure. Picture day's always a good day, though, man.
Dude, I used to love those days.
Man. Come on, baby, keep pushing, man. Keep pushing. I want to see the dollar kind of reject off this area, move down bearish a little bit. I think that'll be just the push I need from my position to get it back up to about the 26, 28 level. I think you'll need a little dollar support.
Yeah, I don't think we'll get just based on that being a daily level that we're trying to move through. I can't see us getting, especially from that news this morning. Can't see
Mhm.
us getting that push. Will be interesting tomorrow to see what how the news comes out with PPI. So
Mhm.
now shifting to the business side of um, inflation growth, um, as well as consumer sentiment.
Right at break even on my position.
Yeah, I'm sitting at how many pips right now? 20 pip profit. Solid. Looking to take this to 147.5 entry here as
47.
we're getting as we're getting that. I love this from the XY. I'm looking at my daily. It
Mhm.
just as I build more confidence in holding my positions longer. Uh,
Mhm.
there's a trade I entered on Tuesday. Entered it Tuesday at 5:31 a.m. I ended up taking profit, just moved my stop loss to where it kept me in profit.
Mhm.
Um, but then that same exact move, it moved directly to where my take profit was originally. So just
Mhm.
as I continue to get familiar with UJ's movement, I just know that I have to be more patient moving to my take profits. Especially having those target areas because it's normally like a decision-making level or, a fair value gap or liquidity, and just trusting that it's going to move to those levels, instead of kind of giving up on it in a way, um, just because I'm really used to it correcting against my position so quickly, I guess we can say when it comes to gold,
Hmm.
as they're getting that clean bounce, such a freaking clean bounce off that level 4 hour decision making level on gold. When I'm thinking about these institutional numbers, as I scroll deeply in here, I'm just looking for something that's a clean number, right? And I look at this wick from this bearish candle in this 5 minute chart, this last candle we get before we start to move bullish. And it was right at, so let's see, that low was right at about 26.17. So that'd have been a really nice entry for me there. Decision making level generated off of one of its own. MACD coming in with clean volume. I love this one. See your take profit, bro. 26.30. Here we come.
Let's see. You better get fresh green dot and fresh volume on our MACD on my 5 minute time frame on gold. I think that's encouraging there.
Yeah, and looking at correlation between UJ and our dollar chart right now, in terms of MACD, momentum, volume, everything lining up accordingly, as well as if we flip it to gold, we see just the inverse going on. This is money. I always love when I find like something from old.
Hmm.
So I used to on my trading view, I used to like write notes on the given pair. So when I was trading gold, this is literally back 9:30, so almost 2 years ago to date.
Hmm.
Instead, there's this markup I had on. Funny, actually, as you're seeing, I was using the cloud 2 years ago. Um, but I said bulls made price move a little. The overall bears still appear to be in control. Bulls made a nice push and bears stepped in at the equal zone. That
I
initial
just took
impulse.
take profit here, by the way,
Hey,
as I moved on to just that full fill of that inefficiency that lied there on the 1 hour. Uh, if we break above this area, I'm gonna love to scale in. I'm just giving the area we're at on the dollar. I like to take profit there with about walk away with 30 pips on that play. So, damn, that got me out of $28. Beautiful, beautiful.
mama, what you taking my cord for? Hey, that's not yours.
A
What are
good
we?
grip strength, man. The grip strength.
Help me.
Mm.
And she over here about to take the cord out the mic.
Give me that. Snatch that.
Oh, take the yen. Correct that inefficiency. Still in this trade. see something that might play something like this. What's my short position? Short position isn't it? Wait a second. Okay, let's see if we can get some more, another push here from the dollar. And is still trending in the direction of bullish on gold and bearish on UJ. Price just accumulating right now in this area for UJ, just seeing like an even distribution of buyers and sellers, with sellers remaining just in control according to our 26 period average. And then ready. All right, come on. All right, come on. Come here. Come here. All right, come here. Come on. Let's see for the first time. I need one, man. Before me. Mommy said that there is stuff in your bathroom for your face, but just put Himalayas lotion in your hair, which I have to locate that. So stand by.
That 23, the 2630 is looking nice. I like it.
Hmm. Is this yours? I think I did that actually. Yeah, I'm considering as I get to this liquidity level. Damn, that sun is hold on. Mine was hitting me. You done already? Come on. Ooh. As we move on to 20, this low on UJ, I'm considering entering a position there, closing out the current position I have when we get to that, like taking profit and then scaling back in. Hey, mama. Woo! And emphasize this bounce. Cleanest freaking bouncing. Was that puzzle game?
Mhm.
Beautiful. Check out news tomorrow. See what's going on there. Fridays, I don't like to trade on Fridays, and I will not do it. Now given to the eagerness of me wanting to trade on Fridays.
I've been thinking about that recently too, because I don't really get Wednesdays. So
That's
I'm
a
really
good
only at
point.
like 2 days a week.
That's
So
a
I'm
very
trying to
good
make a
point.
decision on either getting in there on Mondays or Fridays. I haven't made up my mind yet. Probably will be Mondays because I'm with the US in terms of Fridays.
I just freaking
But we'll see. We'll see.
really want to get one of those overnight pairs, like one of those ones I can, watch maybe like 9 p.m.,
Hmm.
10 p.m. window, enter position, kind of one of those set it and forget it
Hmm. You know,
type of
set TP,
trades.
set stop loss, and
Exactly.
you'll either wake up a richer man or you'll learn something.
Exactly. And
Mm.
just separating, because that's really like I feel like separating all emotions. You're not
Mhm.
sitting there,
Yeah,
just watching it, just execute, okay, I'm out.
yeah, yeah. That probably is like it is my favorite way to execute a position.
Yeah.
Set it, bam, just let it go. You know that's what's so valuable about algorithmic trading, right? I think that's what makes that so valuable. Absolutely zero emotions involved, just
Yeah.
pure analysis and execution.
As I'm as I'm looking at my yen chart on Mativ, like I'm seeing that we are really strong against the last 2 hours of price give almost baseline. And so the further we get away from that, the more strength the yen has, which as I look at my trading view, the more strength it should have against the dollar. I don't know my mind. 706. I'm getting it. Here, I'm getting it. You mean what? You mean another one?
100 push-ups a day so I can bench 315.
You know what I know, bub? That's your room. Well, where do your dirty clothes normally go? And have you tried to locate that yet? Mhm. All right. We're getting some correction against my position. That's cool. Oh my girl. Nobody's trying to hear that. You need to see the fight between bulls and bears here.
Mhm.
Fight between bulls and bears. Accumulation. We can say this area is an area of accumulation. We're either accumulating, manipulating, or distributing. And as we saw on the initial news spike, I'm calling this initial news spike manipulation. Manipulation. About, I got about 9 minutes left on this call. It's only one entry today. So far, I'm still in it. Still in it. It's probably in, decent profit that I could take right now. We're talking my current balance is 1847, right? So we're probably looking at somewhere around 5%, maybe even a little more than that, maybe like 8% right now on my account.
Mhm.
Um, which is freaking good. Like, 7% on my account. I continue to do that compound interest via compounddaily.org, right? I'm just stacking the days at this point. Um, I know that I'm gonna be funding my account with a little bit more money here soon. Definitely by the 22nd, I'll have some more in there. Uh, so, account size will just keep increasing. And then I'm looking to secure 3% a day. Right
Mhm.
now, does that mean I'm just going to completely disregard my analysis and say it, kind of like limit myself? Like,
Mhm.
I don't want to do that. Um, my goal is 3%. So when I mark my position, I,
Mhm.
I just want my initial entry to be greater than 3%, at least 3% or greater. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? So from where I'm entering to where I'm taking that trade, I want it to be at least 3% or greater than my of my account.
Mhm.
And so this entry right here, closing it out right now would give me that. Um, but just I was talking a lot yesterday about just building a story.
Mhm.
And I feel like I have a really clear story that is written out for why I'm gonna hold this trade. Um, so given some, you know, circumstance where I start to see the dollar gaining significant buyer's volume, or, my MATIF, the yen may be losing its control. I may look to exit, but uh, as we get further, probably this is how I'm going to play it. As I get on the road here in 7 minutes, I'm going to find a point where I can move my stop loss so that I'm automatically in profit. So that because I obviously won't be able to look at the chart while I'm driving. Um,
Don't trade and
s-
drive,
so
folks.
yeah, do not trade and drive. They need to put that on those billboards around the city that have like make sure you
Mhm.
got your DD for this weekend. You need to put on there,
Mhm.
no trading and driving. If you're like trading,
We got to get a bumper sticker.
no trading and booming. So take a peek at where I like a potential stop loss, trailing fall, 148. What is that? 148.6. Where are we putting it at? 148.6. So 148.6 is where I may slide my trailing stop to,
Mhm.
still give me, still put me in profit about 26 cents. Um, so ideally, what I want here is if my trailing stop is going to be in, it's going to be at least 3%. which it, for 3% of my current account, it has to be at least 55 cents. So that means my trailing stop will be at least that.
Yeah, smart. Locking in the profit.
Never go broke doing so. Oh my God. 3 minutes. Like I said, no trading for me tomorrow, but I'm definitely gonna be viewing the macros, with PPI and consumer sentiment, and just see how it reacts, tomorrow. I always like to see how it unfolds on Sunday.
Mhm.
Um, and I really, really want to adopt Monday trading. Like I didn't really used to like Mondays either, just for the kind of
Mhm.
like the same reason I didn't like Fridays.
Mhm.
Uh, but just using previous week's momentum and then understanding that I think Friday always moves the opposite of what it should. That's just like my personal like perspective on it. Come Monday is when I like to see it move in the direction that it should have, given Friday's news and whatnot.
Mhm.
So that'll be the next time that I'll enter any live positions is Monday. But yeah,
And the
been
hard
a
thing
been
about
a
Fridays too is that that market just slows up on you so much
yeah
as the session winds down.
yeah yeah
It's just easy to get yourself caught in something over the weekend, which is okay, but it's not
yeah.
a situation.
So it's been a solid week. Let me take a look at what I was at this week.
You're probably going to deposit a couple more, a little bit more funds in the account today as we move through the weekend. Probably nothing crazy. Might throw like 100, 150 in there or something. But yeah, I'm trying to take every opportunity I can. Every time I make a deposit to the bank, I'm trying to just put something in there.
Yeah, no, I started realizing that we all have different situations, of course, but it's a lot easier to fund our accounts than we think. Like, a lot
Yeah,
easier to fund our accounts than we think.
for sure. For sure. For sure. 'Cause then at least,
Literally, the
yeah,
so
I was like, at least for me, like, yeah, I could order DoorDash once or twice less a month. I could, there's just other areas I can kind of squeeze, um, in order to fund this thing as much as I possibly can.
for
Obviously, without
sure.
extending my means, obviously taking care of everything I need to take care of and, doing those things. But
Mm. No, I found myself. I had like just a bunch of change sitting around. I just went
mhm,
to freaking Walmart and dumped that in the change thing, got $40,
yeah,
right? So I just throw that in the account. I do that once a month.
mhm,
By the end of the year, I'll probably be sitting on a $500 trading account just from change. Like,
change. That change adds up, boy.
that. I remember you guys take you take home all the change, don't you? The quarters,
Yeah, bartenders get quarters. Bartenders
quarters,
get quarters.
quarters add up. Sure.
Keeping my coin jar, little piggy bank.
And okay, I know Kaden got a ton of change. And I told him I'd take him to deposit that, get him a open up a bank account for him.
There you go. There you go. Good play.
All right, so it's about a minute after. I'm still in this entry. I like where I'm at. I'm not getting strong buyers volume on UJ, which I don't really think I should, to be honest. Just given, market conditions with labor market data mainly from the US and pretty much the entire market holding its hat on what the US is doing and how the US economy will be unfolding.
Hmm.
So, I'm just gonna ride that. I'm taking this entry down to about 147.5. Uh, if it moves past my level at 148.24, and I'll look to scale back in. I say if I can because I may be driving at the time. Uh, but worst case scenario, I will make sure that I secure some profit on this trade. However, for my even though I profited on Tuesday's trade, it was a lesson for me to just trust my work, man, trust my analysis, and let that be the teacher instead of um, letting uncertainty if that trade would have worked out like I wanted it to, kind of be just in the wind.
Hmm.
So yeah, that's pretty much how I'll play that. There's a few other folders that I have my eye out on in terms of how it could impact the dollar for the rest of today. One was what was it? It was the monthly budget, 30-year bond auction, and this monthly budget statement. We'll just want to see how those fluctuate, um, and just what type of strength it brings to the dollar. So yeah, that's pretty much all I got. I'm gonna go ahead and slide out of here.
Yeah, yeah. I'll go ahead and start off as well and end the call is one five couple minutes early, which is okay.
Yeah, we started early anyway.
Sure, 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 sure. But yeah, back at it next Tuesday. Next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday, same time, same channel. And if you haven't, there's a really, 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 really big announcement on our Instagram, and I think you should go check that out.
With more info
Go check
coming.
that out.
Yes, sir.
All right, my boy.